How did you get your entire restaurant to rebel? I hit my breaking point at the steakhouse after 3 months of wearing what was basically lingerie while serving overpriced ribeye. The female uniform was this tiny black skirt that barely covered anything paired with a low-cut top so tight I could barely breathe. Meanwhile, the male servers wore comfortable polos and regular pants. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was degrading watching middle-aged businessmen stare at my chest while ordering wine, feeling hands brush against me as I leaned over tables getting comments about how I filled out the uniform. I'd watched too many girls quit after being groped or harassed while management did nothing except remind us that customer satisfaction came first. I decided I wasn't going to just quit like the others, I was going to expose this place. I created an anonymous Instagram account and asked current and former employees to send me their stories and photos. Within hours, my DMs were exploding with evidence dating back years. Photos comparing the male and female uniforms side by side. Screenshots of the employee handbook that literally required push-up bras for women. Stories from dozens of servers about harassment that management ignored because the customers were big spenders. I started posting everything with captions explaining the double standards. A photo of Dean in his comfortable uniform next to Sarah squeezed into her required outfit. Stories about Emily developing back problems from mandatory 4-inch heels while men wore sneakers. The post gave everyone courage to start talking more openly during shifts. We'd whisper about the latest story someone shared while rolling silverware or setting up tables. The male servers started noticing things they'd ignored before, like how we had to bend at specific angles to avoid flashing customers, or how we'd cluster together for safety when walking to our cars. Eventually, the owner Cecil found out about the account and called an emergency staff meeting and went ballistic about the account. He threatened to fire anyone involved and said he'd sue for defamation if the post didn't stop immediately. He held up printed screenshots asking who was behind this. We all stayed silent, but I could see the fear in everyone's eyes. That's when we decided to escalate with direct action. We coordinated through a private group chat with all 15 female servers. The plan was simple but risky. The following Saturday, which was always our busiest night, we would all show up wearing the male uniform instead. No skirts, no heels, no push-up bras, just the same polos and pants the guys wore. We knew we might all get fired, but we were done being treated like decorations instead of workers. Saturday arrived and I walked through the employee entrance wearing Dean's spare uniform, feeling more nervous than I'd ever been. But when I got to the break room, I saw all the other girls dressed exactly the same, and we all started laughing from relief. Even Monica, who usually kept quiet, had shown up in the protest uniform. We walked onto the floor together as a united group. Julian, the manager, literally dropped his clipboard when he saw us. His face turned purple and he started screaming about insubordination and how we were destroying the restaurant's atmosphere. Change immediately or you're all terminated. But we stood our ground and started working our tables like normal. The customers had mixed reactions, with some barely noticing and others complaining that their waitress looked different. That's when Dean did something incredible. He disappeared into the bathroom and came back wearing Monica's uniform from her locker. The tiny skirt, the tight top, the heels, everything. He walked right up to Julian and said, "If it's just a uniform, then this shouldn't be a problem, right?" Within an hour, Dean had been groped 8 times, had photos taken of him bending over, and had one customer try to tip him by sliding money into his top. He looked like he was about to cry but kept serving tables to prove his point. Other male servers saw what was happening and started putting on the female uniforms too. By 9 o'clock, it was complete chaos with male servers in skirts and female servers in polos and customers not knowing what to think. Cecil stormed in after getting frantic calls from Julian. He walked into his restaurant to find Dean documenting the 43rd time he'd been harassed in a single shift while wearing the female uniform. Our bartender chose that moment to play audio recordings she'd been secretly making of Julian rating female applicants based on their bodies during interviews. Cecil fired Julian on the spot to try and save face. The next day, he announced that all servers would wear the same uniform regardless of gender. We filed complaints with the labor board that triggered an investigation. 7 former employees joined a lawsuit after hearing about what we'd done. I kept that stupid tiny skirt as a reminder that sometimes you have to make people uncomfortable to create change.